Xbox On. Welcome to Xbox On, a podcast with one host about one console, Xbox. I'm said host Jesse DeRosa, and on today's episode, we'll be talking about the latest Xbox news for the week of May 22nd, 2025, including Avowed's director exits Obsidian, Call of Duty faces new challenges on mobile. Let's discuss what the rest of the year looks like for Xbox now that the biggest games have already been released, and more. This week in Xbox history, in the year 2014, 11 years ago, Wolfenstein: The New Order was released for the Xbox One and Xbox 360. Boy oh boy, this game is so gosh darn good. If you haven't played Wolfenstein: The New Order, please go play that game. It's such a good game. I don't know if people like this one more than the second one. I like them both a lot. Really, they're both fantastic, but man, that experience when this game came out was so special because I don't think anyone really expected anything from Machine Games, and I don't think anyone was really like, oh yeah, that new Wolfenstein game is going to be, anything more than like maybe cool or maybe niche or something. But I feel like it came out and kind of shocked people with just how gosh darn good it was. Like I remember in 2009, Raven made that also really excellent Wolfenstein game that just wasn't as popular. That I really did love that game as well, but there was something about this interpretation where I just felt like the lead up to it was kind of like sudden, where it was like, oh yeah, that's coming out like real soon, but no one was really hyped about it. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, and Machine Games, the guys that used to be that other team that made Chronicles of Riddick and The Darkness, so they're gonna make this Wolfenstein game, and then they got together and they were like, by the way, this is one of the greatest first person shooters in modern history, and boy, I mean, this game just awesome. Bad guys, just like so fucking, I don't know, it's just like such a sick, twisted world. The world building is so good. The writing is so good. The cutscenes are so awesome. The gunplay is so good. I know a lot of people harp on the opening of this game with the long World War II intro. I actually like that part of the game a lot as well. This is on like a short list of games that I would really like to go back and replay again, just because I absolutely adore this game. And I remember I actually went and played it a second time almost immediately after beating it, which I very rarely do. I'm usually a one and done kind of guy with most games. But no, this game was it just hit at the right time where I was like, fuck man, I love my Xbox One. I just remember this was like 6 months into the Xbox One generation between this game and Forza Motorsport 5 and Titanfall. And just, I was just like super happy with my Xbox One at the time. I was like, yeah, I know you're not supposed to like this one. It's got the Kinect. People aren't happy with it. But I was feasting. I was enjoying my Xbox very thoroughly at this point in time. Shout out to Wolfenstein: The New Order. Those are some good memories. Early 2014. I can't believe that was 11 years ago. It's a weird feeling, that's for sure. All right, guys, welcome to Xbox On, episode 312. Again, I'm going to reference something I said last week. If the news 2 weeks ago had just been parsed out over the course of the month, we'd have a great month worth of news to talk about. But instead, we just have a fucking drought with this 1 week where it was just like, oh, by the way, Gears of War is on PlayStation, and Jeff Keighley is actually PlayStation's boss, and he is going to use the Game Awards to take down Xbox. It's like, wow, this is crazy, groundbreaking news. But now we're just back to basically nothing. And what compounds it is I actually have to record the podcast a day early this week. Normally I would record it on a Wednesday night to give myself the most amount of time to catch up with all the news before the podcast goes live. But I have a work obligation tomorrow that's going to keep me very busy, so I'm not going to be probably not going to get home till like 9:30, 10 o'clock tomorrow night. So I just got to do the podcast on a Tuesday, whatever. It will still go live on Thursday. Won't feel any different for you guys, but if any crazy breaking news happens on Wednesday, the reason why it won't be in the podcast is because I'll be fucking sipping on martinis with the CEO of Microsoft. Yes, secret's out. I work for John Microsoft, and I sip CEO cocktails with Mr. Satya Nadella, and we have dry martinis while we talk about when we were in college together, and that's what I do. But no, I just I just won't be here, so it just is what it is. I suspect nothing too crazy is going to happen, although there might be a couple little things that we'll have to talk about next week, but whatever. That stuff happens all the time. It's okay, buddy. Mr. Malg writes in. It says, "Oh, Jesse, I keep forgetting to mention it. Every time I listen to the podcast, the volume levels seem to be really low for me. It's particularly because I listen on bone conduction headphones while driving, so my ears aren't plugged. Anyway, the volume could be a little higher." Mr. Malg, I recently noticed this too. The podcast is not at a volume level that I'm completely satisfied with, and I don't know how to fix that. I'm trying to figure it out. So I am looking into this. Please do not think that I have ignored this request. I'm just really inept and just kind of dumb. And so I just got to figure out what I'm doing wrong. And I will get to work on this. So Mr. Malg, thank you for bringing it to my attention. Always appreciate the feedback. I can't make the podcast better if you guys don't tell me what you need from me, because God knows I'm not observant enough to notice what needs to be addressed. So thank you for the feedback. You also said, I've been playing Doom a lot, although I have to admit I've been playing on PC. Lucky I built the parts right before the tariffs. Playing Doom on PC? Doom on PC is a horrible combination. Everybody knows Doom is a classic Nintendo game. You should wait for the Switch 2 port. I feel like Doom on PC is such a fitting option. I can't fault anyone for choosing to go that route. Although I'm going to be playing on Xbox Series X. I actually downloaded it. I was planning on booting it up Sunday night, but I ended up just getting sucked into some other things. So I actually haven't started Doom. But by the time we meet next week, I'll have played some Doom. So we'll talk about it at that point in time. But it seems like people are generally liking it a lot. It feels like, I don't know if this is revisionist history or what, but I feel like a lot of people are very much like Doom 2016, then this new Doom, then Doom Eternal, the one that came out in 2020, which I'm a little surprised about because I thought everyone loved Doom Eternal the most, and I actually feel a little relieved in hearing that because it kind of lines up with how I feel. I actually never beat Doom Eternal. I made it maybe 3/4 of the way through the game. I made it pretty far into the game, but I did not complete it. I was just kind of getting my ass handed to me in that game, and I just did not find it to be quite as fun as Doom 2016. Although I'm sure if I went back and played it and, I was in the right mood, I would have a blast with it. I did like the game a lot. I didn't like the more open-ended nature of it. I didn't love the verticality as much as I thought I would. So the idea of this new one being a little more narrative driven and being a little more like, as they keep saying, stand and fight and less like jump around and do combos and shit. I'm pretty interested in this. The chainsaw shield thing looks fucking awesome. I'm very much looking forward to this game. So as soon as I get to it this weekend, I just got to wrap up some things with Oblivion, but we'll get into all that in what I've been playing. So Mr. Malk, thank you for writing in. Guys, it's going to be a weird podcast. We don't really have a whole lot of write-ins, and there's really not much major news going on, so we're just going to kind of chill out today. Talk about some smaller news stories, what I've been playing, just hang out for a little bit, get in and out. Probably a little 1-hour podcast, honestly. Just not too much going on in the world of Xbox, but that's okay. I'm just happy to spend some time with you guys, and hopefully you're excited to listen to some Xbox On. If not, you're just a glutton for punishment for being here, so that's on you, buddy. I can't be held responsible for your poor decision making. Now, listen. Speaking of poor decision making, if you had $30 right now, you could buy a taco party pack at Taco Bell. And how much is that? How much money would you have left after that? And a case of Miller Lite, because Bud Light is now for woke people. And if you didn't want to buy that, you could also buy Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny, because as of May 23rd, what is that, this Friday? Yeah, that is officially out. This is a remaster of Onimusha 2, the PlayStation 2 game, for modern hardware. So you can play this on your beautiful Xbox Series X that is going extinct because you made a poor investment by not buying a PS5. And there you go. They enjoy Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny. But joking aside, I've never played an Onimusha game. I feel like I might like these games. I'll be honest, I'm pretty ignorant on Onimusha because even though it's a series I've known about for as long as it's been around, I don't know if this is more Devil May Cry style combat or if it's more Ninja Gaiden. I don't really know exactly what kind of game it is. If it's a Musou, is it more like Dynasty Warriors? I think it's more like Devil May Cry, but I could be entirely wrong. I am actually incredibly ignorant on what exactly Onimusha is, but I know people like these games a lot, and I can't remember. Is this technically the first time the series has come to Xbox? I don't recall, but here's the honest to God truth, guys, because I cannot tell a lie. I'm like Al Sharpton. I just cannot tell a lie. I couldn't care less about Onimusha. I don't know. It just doesn't, like, there's something about it. I'm like, I don't need to know. I'm good. There's too many games that pique my interest. I don't need to find another one that may or may not work for me. I'm good. It's okay. I can, like, if God came down from the heavens and said, Jesse, I'm going to tell you a game you're never going to play before you die. You know, it's like some people say, like, oh, when am I going to die, or how am I going to die? But it's like, no. I want to know, will I ever play Onimusha before I die? And God says no. I'm like, I can live with that. What I really like to know is, will I ever see Shania Twain live in concert before I die? That's what I'm really curious to know. But guys, Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny, that's really like the most notable thing coming out this week on Xbox. But not to say there's not a whole lot going on, because there's just so many games that have come out recently this week. Not this week, these past few months, that who really gives a shit? I mean, we could use a nice big break, and we'll get into that a little bit later. I want to bring up a topic about what's left for Xbox the rest of this year, now that Doom's out, which is kind of the last big push that we knew about. And so we'll get into that, you know, aside from Outer Worlds 2, of course, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So we'll save that thought for now. And let's just kind of start off with some news stories, some smaller news stories. We don't have to linger on these for too long, but we got, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them. So let's just kind of dick around here, talk some Xbox news, and then we'll get into, here's the game I've been playing and what's going on with Xbox for the rest of 2025. All right, guys, let's kick off with this one that actually just happened a few hours ago. Avowed's director, Carrie Patel, has announced her departure from developer Obsidian Entertainment after nearly 12 years with the now Xbox-owned studio. This is from VGC. Patel, who previously was a narrative designer on Pillars of Eternity and The Outer Worlds, is leaving Obsidian to join Netflix. The writer and director will take on the directorial role at Night School, the studio behind Oxenfree 1 and 2, Lost Signal, After Party, and Next Stop Nowhere, she announced on Monday. Dude, I forgot about After Party. I really liked that game a lot. That game was really good. Anyway, Patel's departure comes months after the release of Avowed, which the developer estimated to have reached a huge 6 million players in its opening month. Obsidian is currently ramping up to promote for its next big RPG, The Outer Worlds 2, releasing later this year. Night School Studio was acquired by Netflix back in 2021, becoming the first game developer to be swallowed up by the streaming company. Now, I'm really curious about what happened here, because you want to say that after, after Avowed experienced such a huge engagement number, such a huge player count following its release, that Xbox would have been like, oh, you guys want to do Avowed 2? Green light. And then, Carrie Patel would have been like, great, now it's time to begin on Avowed 2, and she's assumedly going to be the director of that game as well. You would just think that they'd have a lot of hype and momentum, and they'd be feeling pretty good at the studio and ready to move into this follow-up to the game in the early incubation stages of that project. But for her to just leave Obsidian a few months after, instead of kind of be more invested and ready for the next phase, especially when she's, young in her career, although she has been with this company for 12 years, it just seems a little confusing. It makes you wonder what's going on behind the scenes at Obsidian and with Xbox. Was there maybe Avowed 2 is not greenlit yet? Is Avowed 2 on ice or on hold for now? And you guys assume that that's her baby, that's a project she's very eager to get to continue to work on. And that having had such a prominent role on a handful of games at Obsidian, that she'd be, one of those key figures that you'd want to keep around. So for her to be leaving just kind of indicates, although this isn't certain, it just reads to me as something might not be going on, something not so great might be going on behind the scenes, where maybe she's not satisfied, or maybe Avowed was just a long journey and she's ready for something different. And it has nothing good or bad to do with Xbox or Obsidian, but maybe Avowed 2 is not a guarantee and she's upset about it, or maybe they don't want to give her the directorial role for the next game because, as has been reported, Avowed's had somewhat of a turbulent development timeline behind the scenes, and it could be any number of things, but this just kind of rubs me the wrong way and reads weird to me, where I guess it makes sense that, like, shortly after the release of that big game you've been working on for the past 5 or 6 years, shortly after it comes out, that would be a good time to say, hey, time to move on to new adventure. I'm proud of what I did here, but I'm ready for something different. But at the same time, it's, you would just assume it's like, I don't know, after Starfield, or after Skyrim came out, and, you didn't hear about like, oh yeah, Pete Hines is leaving and fucking Todd Howard is giving up and going home back to his mama. It's like, I just feel like this says something that we don't know about just yet. And makes me a little weary about what's going on there. I just wonder if and this would be too soon. I'm sure this decision was probably made well before this, but for her to leave, or she'd been considering leaving well before this, but the juxtaposition of like Avowed coming out, being a huge success in terms of player count, but not necessarily sales, and critically received, not super well, but pretty decently. And then being shortly followed up by just a remake of a game from 2006 that's in a similar genre, like Oblivion remaster, and then seeing the whole world like light on fire and be like, oh my God, this is amazing. More of this. We love this. We love this. It might kind of cause a little bit of a stir, a little bit of despondence among the team that worked on Avowed, because you can see how your game is such a modern interpretation and echo of a genre that games like Oblivion helped pioneer 20 years ago. And now your current project and labor of love is being overshadowed by a simple cosmetic reimagining of that 20-year-old game that you would assume that you'd be way past at this point in time with your ability to, one up what was accomplished with that game. If that makes sense. I mean, that's not a given, and I don't mean to undersell what Oblivion Remastered is. It's special, and it's a lot more than just a visual upgrade. But I just say that to say, maybe there's a little bit of this interpretation that like the team at Obsidian that worked on Avowed has kind of been short-handed a little bit with the way that people have responded to the game, the way that maybe Xbox is encouraging or not encouraging them to continue on with Avowed as a franchise, or maybe the just overall morale or more, is just a little low following Avowed. And I don't mean to read into it so negatively. Like, maybe it has nothing to do with any of that. Maybe she just simply wants to take on a new adventure, or maybe Netflix poached her. Because here's the other side of it. This is kind of fucking weird, because the report was earlier this year, Netflix had laid off a bunch of people from Night School Studio, and a bunch of people were reporting like, hey, I know someone who got fired, and like, oh, hey, I got laid off. And so it's just weird that she would not only go to this team that's clearly in a restructure phase, but to Netflix Gaming, which is an initiative that's been going on for like 5 or 6 years at this point, and seems to have been pretty much a confirmed failure. It seems like, I don't know, it just feels like there's not a whole lot of traction going on behind this. Maybe I'm completely ignorant, and Netflix Gaming has been a thing that's been succeeding. I know they had like Grand Theft Auto that you can stream from Netflix, like old PS2 GTA 3 style Grand Theft Auto, and it's like, that's fine, but like, why would you leave a renowned, esteemed developer like Obsidian to go work at an indie-ish studio, an indie studio that got acquired by Netflix to make streamable iPhone and TV games? It just seems like a couple steps back, and you wonder, it's like, was she poached? And like, is this the kind of talent you would poach following a game like Avowed that was, decently received, but the general consensus is it's not as good as the games that it inspired it. So I just don't know how to read this exactly, and it's a curious situation. Of course, you wish Carrie Patel all the best. Hopefully, whatever decision she's made, it's the one that she's most invested in emotionally, that's going to be the best for her in the long run. Whatever, all good things. I liked Avowed a lot. I enjoyed the game for what it was. Thought it was pretty darn good, but not, out of this world amazing. It did underwhelm me just a little bit. I thought Avowed was going to be easily my favorite game of the year, and I think after having played Metroid Dread and Mario Wonder and South of Midnight and currently Oblivion Remastered, I can tell you, unfortunately, Avowed, while a game I don't regret playing and I had a lot of fun with and I thought was really good for what it was, is definitely not my game of the year, because I've played already at least 4 or 5 other games that have easily surpassed this experience for me. And I think a lot of other people are probably feeling a similar way. So just is what it is. Curious to know what really is the story behind all this. And you would think that she has some role on the Outer Worlds too, perhaps, but no, she's gone now over at Netflix, where careers go to die. All right, let's continue on, guys. So, a little over 1 year after its release, Activision is pulling the plug on Call of Duty Mobile Warzone from the App Store and Google Play Store. They're ending support for the game soon. Released in March of last year on iOS and Android, this game is co-developed by Activision Shanghai, Beenox, Digital Legends, and Solid State Studios. Support shared progression with this console and PC versions of Warzone. It's Call of Duty's second mobile game, however, after the 2019 Call of Duty Mobile, which was developed by Timmy Studios, and continues to be supported to this day. Now, that game is a huge mobile game, a hugely successful mobile game, so it's weird to me that one of these things lasted and one really didn't. In a statement published on Friday, Activision said it has decided to end support for Warzone Mobile because it's not met our expectations, quote, with mobile-first players like it has on PC and console with those audiences. Effective immediately, players will no longer be able to purchase digital currency, and no further seasonal content will be released on Warzone Mobile. From Sunday, May 18th, this past Sunday, the game will no longer be available to download from stores, but players who have the game installed already on their consoles or phones, whatever, before that date, will be able to continue to play online matches for now. Quote, going forward, we will be streamlining the scope of the game. The statement reads, the decision that was made was a careful consideration of various factors, and while we're proud of what the team's accomplished in bringing Call of Duty Warzone to mobile in an authentic way, it unfortunately has not met our expectations with mobile-first players like it has on PC and console. So it just seems like the game was just not big enough, although it probably was big. Now, I will say this kind of correlates with another problem I've heard about, but I haven't really read or seen too much about because I just don't care, which is that apparently Warzone in general, like the console PC version of Warzone, is waning in popularity. It doesn't, it did really, really well in the early days, and got a second wind with every subsequent Call of Duty that's released. But really, it seems like in the past 2 years or so, the momentum for Warzone has died a lot. It's not this Fortnite kind of thing where it's just like, no matter what, it just keeps going and going. While Call of Duty continues to be a huge success, it does seem like Warzone is finally starting to plateau a little bit, and I wonder if they want to streamline and focus their efforts on Call of Duty as a brand more on one unified product, and they're starting to say maybe we should stop spreading the field so much with Warzone and Warzone Mobile and every annual release and this other mobile game and this game and this game, and maybe just kind of focus on the core bread and meat and potatoes of what Call of Duty is, which is stellar multiplayer with the campaign and zombies attachments along with that. Hopefully that's what they mean here, but it is weird because I just kind of assumed, it's Call of Duty. Call of Duty Mobile is so popular, so naturally this would be popular as well. Warzone's popular, why not? But I had no idea that this game would be underperforming. Now, we see this a lot in modernity where a game is a huge, massive success that's plenty profitable and has a large player base and then gets canned or the studio gets shut down or whatever the case because it didn't meet the expectations of the publisher despite being profitable and successful. So that it is possible that is something that we're looking at here where Call of Duty Warzone Mobile was completely profitable and fine, but they just said, hey, Activision said, hey, for what we're investing in this resources and money wise, it just doesn't make sense. Let's consolidate and focus on something more unified. And it just makes me wonder, the Activision Blizzard King deal for Xbox was so much about getting into mobile. They kept saying it's not just about, we don't want to just dominate PlayStation or anything like that. It's like we want to grow into new markets. We want to be in the mobile space. We need to be in there with King and everything. And Call of Duty games on mobile are some of the biggest games that they would have acquired in purchasing Activision, and here they are shutting down one of their presumably flagship products. This isn't Candy Crush or anything, but Call of Duty on, even if it's just Warzone, that sounds like a huge product. So I wonder if I'm overlooking into this, but it does make you wonder. And we haven't seen too much of a marketed, communicated, effective, push for mobile from Xbox in the year plus that they've had Activision. So I wonder what's really going on here. Are they going to try to keep that stuff separate from Xbox? If so, it's like, what's the point? You're not really, I understand from a profitability standpoint, but you're not really unifying the Xbox ecosystem with mobile by just like ignoring that shit or keeping it quiet or not, talking about it in conjunction with all your proper Xbox stuff. Like, so where are these mobile efforts from Xbox now that they own Activision Blizzard King? Like, I feel like there's more games getting shut down than being greenlit, but nonetheless, here we are. All right, guys, let's continue on with one there's not too much to say about, but it might get some people excited. I know people are always looking forward to their next fighting game, and apparently Injustice 3 could be in development. The development of a third game would have been teased by a multiverse data miner, an account that has a history of posting information about multiverses content before it was officially released, has teased that, quote, multiverses shutting down is an injustice, that doing all over, and then doing this all again is another injustice. The post reads on X for multiverse. That's a name. Leaving me without any leaks yet again is another injustice. They continue. Multiverse Susie then followed up with replying, reading the number three, saying injustice 3 times in that statement. Both Multiverses and Injustice games are published by Warner Bros. Games, which may explain how Multiverse Susie has seemingly been able to acquire data on the latter. The first 2 Injustice games were developed by NetherRealm, the Warner Bros. Team behind Mortal Kombat, and the last game was released in 2017. It was Injustice 2 on the Xbox One. So this might be teasing at like, oh, hey, yeah, Multiverse is shutting down, but, wink, wink, nod, nod. Maybe some people are getting pushed onto support work for a, new Injustice game, which would be exciting. I actually recently played a lot of Injustice 2 with my girlfriend because I've just been going on that DC superhero kick, Marvel superhero kick lately, and it's on Game Pass, so I downloaded it and started playing around with it, and my girlfriend was like, ooh, I like fighting games. I used to play Mortal Kombat when I was a kid, so she started playing it with me, and it became like a little thing we were playing for a week or so. So I'm a little bit, as someone who doesn't normally go for these kinds of games, I don't really care for these games. Every now and again, I always think I want to get into Mortal Kombat, and then I play it, I'm like, I don't like fighting games. But yeah, I like Injustice. I can recognize, despite not being its target demographic, its target audience, I can recognize what a great fighting game it is nonetheless. And I know people love these games. So an Injustice 3, I think, is long overdue, man. It's been 8 years, so people are probably hungry and ready for it. I know they like to alternate Mortal Kombat, Injustice, back and forth. But that last Mortal Kombat game was 2 years now, so I think we're ready for it. But give us another year or so. Let's get another Injustice game out. But there's that, and then one more here. So I just want to bring attention to this, but I don't have too much to say on it. Apparently, Bungie, there's been some back and forth controversy on Bungie this past week, where they've acknowledged that an artist of theirs, their work on the upcoming game Marathon was taken without permission. Scottish artist Fern Hook, who posted as 4NT1R34L on social media, posted a series of images on X on Thursday, accusing Bungie of taking assets from previous work and using it in his newly released alpha for the game Marathon. He says the alpha released recently in environments are covered with assets lifted from poster designs I made back in 2017. Artist Hook claimed post numerous comparison images to make his point. Bungie, of course, are not obligated to hire me when making a game that draws overwhelmingly from the same design language I ever find from the last decade. But clearly my work was good enough to pillage for ideas and plaster all over their game without paying any attribution. So Bungie has now acknowledged this claim and said, hey, this is accurate. This really happened. What the hell? They basically said, or actually they say, quote, we immediately investigated a concern regarding unauthorized use of an artist's decals in Marathon and confirmed that the former Bungie artist included these in a texture sheet that was ultimately used in game. A statement says that the game's official Discord servers reads, this issue was unknown by our existing art team at the time, and we are still reviewing how this oversight occurred. While they reach out, they said they're reaching out to the artist to let them know that, that they want to ensure that this wasn't used without their permission to prevent similar issues. They're doing a thorough review, and that the artist that took it is no longer with them, blah, 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 blah. But there's a lot of controversy about this because apparently not only is this bad enough on its own, but apparently something like this has happened before with Destiny 2, where there was an artist who made a stink about, hey, like, these are my designs making it into Destiny 2 DLC, like armor and gun designs and shit. And lo and behold, people were like, yeah, this is stolen directly from this artist. And then this was also a thing with Call of Duty a few years ago, wasn't it? With some like DLC skins or like in-game shop items where people were like, you literally just stole this, or it was like AI. No. I think with Call of Duty, the problem was it was AI generated content or something like that. Oh my God. It never gets any better, man. It's just like, I understand that sometimes when you're developing a game, use reference art as like to like, oh, I want to make this thing, and here's the piece of reference art I want to use to invoke the idea of what I'm going for, and maybe something accidentally stayed in and got slipped in the game when it was mistaken for like authentic art for the game and not just some reference sheet that they were working on. I guess that could have happened, but it just seems after multiple incidents over a long history of time that there is something going on at Bungie where from time to time people's work gets stolen and uncredited, and that is just simply not okay and must be accounted for. So hopefully, whoever's responsible for this is found and held accordingly accountable, and this doesn't happen again, because dude, I'd be fucking pissed. Although hopefully that guy gets his recognition or pay or something to make up for it, because bro, what an honor it would be to have your work featured in a game by Bungie, one of the great developers of all time. But what a crying shame it would be for them to steal your work. They don't need it. Trust me, they don't need it. So hopefully they make good on that. And that's really it. All we got for the news, you guys. So I told you it's super slow week. So I don't know. Let's just chill out for a little bit, talk about what I've been playing, all the rest, and then we'll get back into this little conversation about Xbox for the rest of the year. What's going on with Team Xbox? So I'll talk about the games I've been playing, which we've already alluded to. But before I can tell you about the games I've been playing, guys, I real quick got to tell you about what it is I've been eating. Sam Frito writes in with an update regarding last week's food discussion of my food tour around Universal's Epic Universe theme park, and says, we have similar taste, Jesse. The Yoshi Apple Melon Slushie was absolutely great. Beats the Donkey Kong Banana Blast float hands down. I didn't try the Donkey Kong Banana Blast float. I saw it, and my girlfriend's like, do you want it? I was like, no. I'm tired of ice cream floats. I'm tired of everything in Florida. This is just Universal's way of saying we can do Dole Whip, but here's the thing, Universal. You don't need to do Dole Whip. You want to know why? Because Dole Whip, while delicious, is a little overrated. We don't need it. We do need the Yoshi Apple Melon Slushie. That thing is phenomenal. No, I didn't try the Donkey Kong Banana Blast because it just didn't seem like something I was interested in, but I did see everyone getting their photos with their little souvenir mugs. It's a good cup for sure. He said, the Monsters ride is the greatest Universal attraction in my opinion. That's a bold fucking statement. We are lucky to have made something so interesting. We are lucky that they made something so interesting and enjoyable. From the queue line to the presentation, animatronics, and sound, it's all I could ever ask for. Donkey Kong is fun too, just a really problematic ride with a lot of downtime and delays. Glad we still have great things happening in a tumultuous year. We should be thankful for all the entertainment we can and can't afford. As for what I'd pay for the next Xbox console, as discussed last week, $750 to $800, but I want a console, not a handheld first. Thanks, great show. I agree too. I want the handheld to be released in conjunction with the new console or shortly after the new console, but I want the console before I want the handheld. But San Frito, I am of the mind that we are going to get that handheld first. It's either we get the handheld first or we get them both together, but I think getting the console then the handheld is highly unlikely. That is my assumption. I hope I'm really wrong about that. Maybe I am, because Phil Spencer did talk about being a couple years away from the handheld, so maybe. But I don't want to talk about Xbox. That's not what's important here. I want to talk more about what you're talking about here. Listen, here's the thing about that Monsters attraction is it is so good. I really don't like the other version of that ride, that Harry Potter ride, Forbidden Journey, and I adore this Universal Monsters attraction, which means clearly it's not the ride system. I don't know what it is. I just feel like it was used to much better effect with this ride. This is one of those theme park attractions I will just think about it again and again, in the time after riding it, because it was just so good. The animatronics in this ride are so good. The sets are so good. I fucking love this ride. I think it's a blast. My only gripe with this ride, I have one and only one complaint, and it is a huge complaint. That's the problem. Because if they fix this one thing, I would just say, I don't give a shit what anyone says. This is one of my favorite theme park rides. But I can't get over this one fucking oversight, which is they include, I'm vaguely familiar with monster lore to some extent, right? Like, who hasn't ever heard of Igor, the little fucking hunchback, creepy helper guy. I cannot stand this interpretation of Igor. He is so obnoxious. This pre-show sucks donkey dick. So the ride has two pre-shows. That first one with the CGI little cutscene makes me want to fucking kill myself. I just want to ask a cast member, can I just skip this show, or can I just wait outside until it's over and then go into the next pre-show? Because the second pre-show is fucking awesome. That's where you got the Victoria Frankenstein and the Frankenstein's Monster 2 animatronic, and they're both incredible, and it's the setup for the ride, and Dracula's there. It's fucking fantastic. Love that second pre-show. And then the ride starts. It's the same thing. First, you see fucking Igor, and he's being all creepy and weird and ugly and difficult to stare at because he's so gross. And I'm like, fuck this ride. And then immediately, as soon as he's off screen, I'm like, oh, this is like the greatest theme park ride ever. I love this shit. But no, I'm with you. Generally speaking, I'm just griping over that one thing. But nonetheless, I really do love this ride, and I'm right there with you, brother. It is a fantastic ride. It is probably technically my favorite thing at Epic Universe ride-wise. I didn't get to ride Harry Potter and the Ministry of the Battle of the Ministry because it wasn't open the day I was there. But I assume that even once I ride that, even if it is very technologically impressive, which it sounds like it is, the Monster Ride's still going to be my favorite ride just because I just love that ride for what it is. That being said, I'll be honest, I know a lot of people really, really hate this ride because they've been riding it in California and Japan for years and the reviews have not been good. But I really liked Mario Kart a lot. I think I said this last week, so I won't dwell on it, but I thought that Mario Kart ride was really fucking cool. And I'll say another maybe a controversial opinion. I really like the Yoshi ride a lot. Now, the Yoshi ride could be longer, but I really like that ride. I think it's adorable. It's a blast. Maybe it's not super re-rideable, and that's the problem. But as someone who only got to ride it one time, I really enjoyed that one ride. But anyway, I'll stop talking about theme park rides now. Shout out to Epic Universe. It's been a week since I've been, and it's a fun memory. I had a really great time. All right. Oh god damn, that Yoshi apple melon slushie is so fucking good. I want to spend $150 just to go back to Epic Universe. If for anything, just to have that slushie one more time. It was so good. I told my brother about that. Was how I told my family about Epic Universe. I wasn't like, look how beautiful this park is. Look how cool this ride is. I was just like, this slushie is so good. Don't be an idiot. Drink it now. Fly to Florida so you can drink this ride. So you can drink the hydraulic fluid that goes into the animatronic. Oh my god, I'm losing my brain. Guys, speaking of what I've been eating, I don't want to talk about theme parks because I haven't been eating theme parks. And I haven't even been eating the thing I've been eating, but I'm very excited to talk about this. After a month of window shopping, researching, planning, contemplating, fixating, Reddit scrolling, I have finally pulled the trigger. I've done it. In fact, today when I got home from work, it was waiting there at my day step. My doorstep. I have finally done the ultimate suburban dad thing and invested in a grill. I'm very excited. It kind of hit me recently. I was like, I want to get into grilling. I've always wanted to grill. Just, living in an apartment, can't do it kind of thing. But now that I have a house, I'm like, fuck it. I want to grill. I want to get a grill. I was originally going to wait until we fenced in the backyard first, but I can't afford the fence right now. It's too much money. It's more money than I want to that I can justify spending. So we haven't done it yet. So I said, you know what, Jesse, fuck it. I'm not going to let another summer go by like last year where I just don't get into grilling because I'm like, I want to put the fence in first. I'm just going to do it. I pulled the trigger and I got a Weber Kettle charcoal grill, the most classic, cheap ass, basic, buy it once, take care of it. It will last until you die. Charcoal grill. And I've been doing lots and lots of research. Feel pretty confident that I bought the correct item for grilling. I did the propane versus pellet smoker versus charcoal thing. Did all my research, weighed my options. Listen, just like cars, I want to do the same thing with grilling. I get it. You can get the fancy pellet smoker, throw the pork butt in there, forget about it for 7 hours, and have delicious food ready for you. But I drive manual cars. I like the experience. I like controlling the experience and being more engaged. So I got to get the charcoal griller because I want to master the controlling of the temperature and the heating of the coals and all the technique that goes into it. To me, it seems like that's all the fun in grilling is kind of being in charge of really making sure whatever happens is because you knew what you were doing. And then propane, I don't want to do propane because, honest to God, I just don't want explosive tanks around my house. So I didn't want to do propane. Also, taste the heat, not the meat. But yeah, so I finally ordered a grill. It's here. I'm very excited for it. My plan is I'm gonna unbox it and set it up on Thursday and start cleaning it and playing around with it and just looking at it. And then this weekend I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do something. When we went to the grocery store the other day to get the week's groceries, I found some baby back ribs for $9.50. And I was like, I never buy ribs, so I think that's a good price. Feels like a good price. I'm going to buy those. But I thought about it the past few days. I'm like, I don't want the first thing I do on the grill to be smoking baby back ribs. I do want to smoke. That's the thing I'm most excited to do with it is not necessarily char grill shit, but rather just slowly cook, smoke stuff. So I am very much looking forward to that. But I'm like, brisket sounds very costly and technical, so I'm like, maybe work my way up to that. Maybe you start with something simple. You grill some fucking hamburgers or steaks because that's what most people do with a grill. I don't know, but I want to do something. I want to do something special with it. I'm thinking about some pork shoulder. That's what I'm really leaning towards. But I have to make a decision too soon because my plan is to pick something up, stop by a store, pick something up on my way home from work on Friday, and then Saturday or Sunday I'm going to cook that baby. But I'm very much looking forward to fucking around with the grill. I did it all, dude. I got the charcoal chimney. I got Royal Oak charcoal. It was on sale at Publix. I got it for buy one, get one. So I'm loaded up on charcoal for dirt cheap. And I'm very excited to get into the world of grilling. I know in the past we've had some Xbox On listeners who are grillers. If you got any advice, I'd love to take it. And share with me your favorite grilling memories, your favorite grilling meats, your favorite grilling tips and tricks. I'd love to hear them from all you Xbox On daddies out there. But that's it for what I presumably will be eating if I don't burn my fucking face off trying to put a lean frozen cheeseburger patty on the grill. But I'm looking forward to it. Guys, it's not all about the food, though, because the whole point of eating is so that you can sustain yourself when you're doing activities. Activities like playing video games. And with that in mind, I want to get to what I've been playing. So I won't lie. I went to the eye doctor this weekend. No, I had a good weekend as far as having the free time to do the things I want to do. And the plan was to finish Mario Wonder and Oblivion Remaster so I could get myself ready for Doom. I did finish Mario Wonder. I did not finish Oblivion Remastered. I ended up just watching lots of baseball. Lots and lots of baseball. I found out that thanks to FanDuel Sports Network, I can finally now subscribe to just local sports television. I don't have to get cable. So I was like, fuck yeah, this is all I've been waiting for like the 6 years I've been living in Florida. So I gladly subscribed to that so I can watch the Tampa Bay Rays. Finally, God, thank you fucking God. I wasn't going to get cable television. Thank God I can finally watch the Tampa Bay Rays. So I've been watching baseball all weekend. Watching baseball, watching YouTube, and playing Mario Wonder. So I finished Mario Wonder, and just as I suspected based on what I said last week, Super Mario Wonder is the best 2D Mario game in my opinion, period. It is so special. This game is phenomenal from the very beginning to the very end. I haven't finished all the special world stages, which I will get into, but I have played through every single level of the game itself, the proper adventure, and dude, I just love it. The last boss is so creative. The final world is so funny and interesting. Those levels are so good. It's not about being challenging, but rather being creative. I'm pretty good at 2D and 3D platformers. It's like the only gaming genre I'm like objectively good at. So I don't really struggle with games like this. So I can't really say like, oh, this was a good challenge or something like that, because to me it's like there's no Mario game that's hard. I'm good at every Mario game. It's literally the only thing I'm good at is 3D and 2D platformer games. So I found it to be not the easiest Mario game. There are definitely easier 2D Mario games, but on the spectrum of difficulty, I found it to be kind of in the lower middle category, if that makes sense. Like, and towards the lower middle side of difficulty for Mario game. But it doesn't matter, because what really matters in this game is just how extra special, phenomenal, spectacular, superb, stupendous, the level design and the gimmicks and the quirks and the unique ideas and mechanics that they have for every single level, and how this game never fucking lets up. It's like every time you think, well, that was such a fun level, what will they think of next? You just hop into the next level and you're like, oh my fucking God, they did it again. And this game is just, man, like, you would think that they haven't made a Mario game in like 35 years and that they've just been sitting on a mountain of ideas ready to execute with how creative this game is. But meanwhile, it's like the trillionth Mario game, and I just adore it so much. The music's great. The art style is great. I think this is a great evolution of the 2D Mario art style. I love the new characters and the new setting and just all the things they do differently in this game. All the power-ups are super fucking awesome. I love playing around with them. The levels are great. The boss battles are great. It takes so much of the old Mario formula and says, we know, you're expecting this. Now let's do something different. Constantly, the game does that to you, and it's such a treat every time. I really love this game. It's easily one of the very best games on the Nintendo Switch, and I feel kind of crazy because it's like in this kick lately where I've been going back, touching up that Nintendo Switch backlog, I realize some of the very best games ever made for the Nintendo Switch I have never beaten or played at all. And I will say with full confidence, Metroid Dread and Super Mario Wonder are top 5 greatest Switch games of all time. And I had never played them until the past few weeks. So, I mean, it's in no particular order. What would you say for Switch? Best games? Mario Odyssey, Mario Wonder, Metroid Dread, Splatoon. I'm just going to say Splatoon 2/3 because why not? They're more or less the same, and I just love Splatoon. And then, I don't know, I haven't played Pikmin 4 yet. Maybe that ends up on there. I do like Zelda Breath of the Wild a lot. I just don't love it as much as other people do, so maybe it belongs on there. I mean, it does technically, objectively belong on there. It is a revolutionary video game, even if it isn't my favorite. It is technically a great video game. But yeah, Switch's got a pretty rock solid lineup. I gotta admit, it's after you get past that lull, like it launched strong. It had a great launch year, and then 2018, 2019 kind of sucked on the Switch. I'm not gonna lie. I just feel like it became the Wii U port central. But then you get into like 2021, 22, 23, and then the library gets really fucking strong again. So I feel like the earlier years and some of the later years of Switch are just absolutely excellent, which is great because it means that when you look at it like from, in the rear view, it's like, wow, Switch had a great library from start to finish rather than just being front load or back loaded. It's just kind of like spread out with a couple of rough years there in the middle. But overall, man, Mario Wonder is so good. Now, Oblivion Remastered, I've spent less time with. I've been playing it on my Logitech G Cloud, actually, mostly while watching baseball. And I just got to be honest about one thing real quick here, guys. Playing Oblivion Remastered on my Logitech G Cloud after playing so much Mario on the Switch, and after playing so much Switch in general lately, really makes me appreciate the Logitech G Cloud because, oh my God, that handheld just feels so much better. It's such a better tablet. Oh my God, the screen's so much better. The ergonomics are better. The buttons are better. I fucking love that tablet so much. And it just reaffirms, even though the Switch is such an awesome idea and it's such a cool concept, it's such a cool piece of hardware, God, it's just such an ugly, shitty piece of shit. And I can't wait for Switch 2 to replace it and hopefully feel so much more premium and sexy and sleek and nice and just better all around and upgraded. I don't know, man. I love that Logitech G Cloud. But Oblivion Remaster, I'm about a little over halfway through the main quest line. And I'm really enjoying this game, and I just don't have a whole lot to say about it at this point in time. I feel bad. I feel like I should have some Xbox stuff to talk about, but I'm still just kind of making my way through it. I love the game. I think it's weird. I think it's quirky. I think it's buggy and humorous in all the ways people have always talked fondly about it. And then the game is sometimes a little old school with like some of the ways it tells you what to do or what not to do. I feel like you end up using this time mechanic a lot of just killing time, like, oh, let me just wait here for 6 hours, let me just fall asleep here for 18 hours so I could do this or that. It's like such a useless mechanic, but like maybe a cool idea for the time, as far as making the game feel more immersive or real. But like it just has some of these like old game quirks to it, but once you kind of learn those quirks, it's not like hard to figure out how to play or navigate the world. It's just like, oh yeah, this is like what at some point in time this was a good idea. We don't do this today. Why would we do this? So it's just weird from that perspective, but I am enjoying it, and I do plan on sitting with it once once the end of the week rolls around, I'm not so busy, and then just kind of knocking it out, maybe 5 or 6 more hours with it, and I should be where I want to be. And then I'm going to put it on a shelf and hop into Doom the Dark Ages, which I'm really looking forward to. I really want a nice meaty first person shooter, because those are like my favorite fucking games. So let's go. Guys, that's it for what I've been playing. Let's take a quick break and then hop back in and talk about this this idea of what's left for Xbox this year as we start to stare down the second half of the year with not much of a roadmap for the console, despite having a very jam-packed first couple months. So let's get into that. All right, so I wanted to have a quick conversation around us out this week because, with Doom the Dark Ages now being out, we're kind of at this point where it's like, well, that's really it for Xbox. I mean, obviously, we got the Outer Worlds 2 coming out at the end of the year, and there are some other things we know about, and we'll get into them in a minute here, but that is the bulk of 2025 for Xbox. And I just kind of want to discuss, like, what's going on, where do we go from here, and why was there such an aggressive push to get us to this point, only for us to now have this whisper quiet back end. It's like going to a buffet for breakfast and then fasting the rest of the day. It's like, why didn't you just, I don't know. It's like, I'd rather fast all day and then go to a dinner buffet. But here we are with Avowed, Oblivion, South of Midnight, Doom the Dark Ages, Expedition 33, and all this shit shoved into our mouths. And come November, we're going to be hungry for games, but someone's going to look at us and say, you selfish bastard, look at what you just got a few months ago. So anyway, let's put it into perspective. So events. Xbox has their big summer showcase in just a few weeks here in June on the, what is it? It's the 7th? No, it's the 8th. Sunday the 8th. And then, so there's that, right? And that's going to be the huge thing that's going to give us the missing pieces to the puzzle. Whatever we don't know about what's going on this year, we're going to get 99% of those answers at that June showcase in a few weeks. So that's really the big thing. Just over 2 weeks from now. So we're just patiently waiting, and there's that. Gamescom comes in August, right? That's another event. Xbox is usually pretty present at Gamescom, although the past few years they have not been doing showcases at Gamescom, which I think is a good thing because they've been showing up way too often. So I'm not expecting them to be at Gamescom this year, and I don't think you should be expecting them either. But there is always the possibility that they have an announcement or two at something like a Gamescom, because they do that from time to time. And then the other big opportunity for them, just based on what they historically have done, is of course the Game Awards, which comes in December of 2025, of course. So we got June, August, and December. It's pretty perfectly paced out, right? Because you get June, then a break in July, then you get Gamescom in August, then you get September, October, November is like the crazy time of year where all the games come out, and then you got December, which is when the Game Awards happens and Game of the Year and all that crap. Now, it seems obvious to some extent that Xbox, along with many others, were doing the get out of Grand Theft Auto 6's way. And here's Grand Theft Auto 6 saying, hey, we'll see you in May of next year. Fuck you. So maybe we get another loaded Xbox release schedule from, I don't know, December through March or something like that. And then they clear up to make room for Grand Theft Auto 6 next May. But that's it for the showcase layout. But let's talk about the rest of the year as far as games. We know that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 comes out July 11th, which is an awesome summer release. Looking forward to that. I think it's so great that we have something in that historically barren July month. So that's great. Good get for Game Pass. Obviously not a huge deal. That's not going to be the game that's going to make millions and millions of people shit their pants and buy an Xbox, but it is a nice get, especially for Game Pass and just, of course, nostalgic gamers who want to see these games come back. And then August 8th, you got some good third-party support with Mafia: The Old Country, which we talked about a couple times on the show. That's not going to be a huge system seller or anything like that, but it is a pretty notable third-party release. Then on August 26th, you got Gears of War Reloaded, which isn't a huge deal for Xbox players. I mean, yeah, 120 hertz and all that stuff, 4K for Gears of War. That's great. It's a nice free upgrade for people who already had the Gears of War Ultimate Edition on Xbox One from 2015. But really, this is all about getting Gears of War on PlayStation for the first time. So this is an Xbox release that has a lot more to do with PlayStation than it does for Xbox. So it's like something to note. It's important, but if you're an Xbox player on Xbox hardware, this isn't something you're probably like super excited about. So there's that. Then there's Metal Gear Solid Delta a few days later on August 28th, which is another big notable third-party support title. And then Shinobi Art of Vengeance, which is that new 2D Shinobi game. I didn't mean to put that there. I meant to put that new Ninja Gaiden game. Anyway, I'm excited for Shinobi Art of Vengeance, but that's, it's a real small game. It's not a huge deal. We can just skip right over that. September 12th, you get Borderlands 4, which is another huge third-party support game. Although, again, it's not, no one's going to be like rushing out to the store to go get an Xbox Series X because Borderlands 4 came out. But it will be a nice get for a lot of Xbox players. Borderlands is a series that has historically done very well with the Xbox audience. And then a few weeks later on September 23rd, Marathon is supposed to come out from Bungie, although everyone seems to be calling for that game's delay. I would not be surprised if that game gets a healthy delay, so I'm not holding my breath for that one, but that is incredibly notable that the guys who created Halo and Destiny have their next game coming out in September, although it seems like there's not as much hype for it. Then we get 3 more games worth noting, but they are all to be determined dates sometime this year. Ninja Gaiden 4, which if I were betting man, I would say October, November. And then Call of Duty 2025, which is still rumored to be a Black Ops 2 sequel. Kind of like how they did Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 in 2022. And then immediately the next year did that Modern Warfare 3 game. The rumors that we're supposed to get something like that with Black Ops 6 and then a Black Ops 2 sequel immediately following it this year. So we'll probably hear about that in just a few weeks at the Xbox Showcase. But, until then, that's going to be probably late October, early November. So that will probably release within a close range of Ninja Gaiden 4. And then there's the Outer Worlds 2, which I think the Outer Worlds 2 is going to be a late November, early December game. That might be like their Indiana Jones of this year is the Outer Worlds 2, which I am looking forward to a great deal. I mean, I'm looking forward to more COD as always. I'm looking forward to Outer Worlds 2. I'm looking forward to Ninja Gaiden 4. I'm looking forward to Tony Hawk. And hell, I'll give Gears of War yet another playthrough. So I mean, that's like 5 Xbox titles hitting Game Pass this year, day one, that are worth looking into. So it's not to say Xbox doesn't have anything going on this year for the rest of the year after Doom, The Dark Ages. It's just to say, I mean, obviously, with the exception of Outer Worlds 2, which is a big first-party release, Xbox doesn't really have anything super crazy or mind-blowing coming out the way that earlier this year we had, Doom the Dark Ages and South of Midnight and Avowed and all these games. So it's just a different release cadence, and that all paired with the excessive the just stacked PlayStation release schedule of and here's Indie and here's Forza and all that. It's just like, what were you doing? And I think Xbox were trying really hard to bolster Game Pass subscriber numbers and Xbox revenue as they wrap up their fiscal year 25, I think is what Microsoft was trying to do. But, now here we are entering it's soon to be entering fiscal year 26 for Microsoft, and I think which starts in August. And then that's when Gears of War comes to PlayStation, which is a great way to kickstart their first quarter of next fiscal year. So I'm wondering if that's kind of what the logic was here, was to kind of really, do Xbox some good by trying to really pad those numbers as they wrap up the fiscal year. And that was the impetus perhaps for pushing all these games out so close to one another, trying to shadow drop Oblivion and putting all these Xbox games on PlayStation when you could have spread them out a little more. I mean, it's possible that we still get Halo on PlayStation this year. I mean, maybe we get that announced in a few weeks at the Summer Showcase event, and then it comes to PlayStation in October, November. I don't fucking know at this point. Anything's possible because, I mean, Xbox has just been announcing and releasing so many things close together that there could be a lot more happening. But as of now, that is the gist of what we know for Xbox for the rest of the year. That's really worth getting into. I mean, it's Ninja Gaiden, it's Outer Worlds 2, it's Call of Duty, your annualized Call of Duty, and this Tony Hawk and Gears of War remakes and remasters. So that is where we are with all of that. And then lastly, let's talk about hardware. What are we expecting from Xbox for the rest of the year as far as hardware goes? Well, based on recent reports and suggested rumors, it is possible we get an Elite Series 3 controller or that Sebille controller that's like that next generation Xbox controller. If that's the case, if we get one or both of those, I mean, we are weeks away from hearing about them at the showcase. So I really hope we get that Sebille controller. I really want that. And I think that would be such a good get for Xbox. Just something you could throw out there for the fans that would just make Xbox hardware seem a little interesting in a time where Xbox hardware is so like pushed to the background while they're catering to PlayStation. You know, it's like we got the news that all your games are coming to PlayStation. Then we got the news that your Xbox is more expensive. And it's like, just give us a bone or something. So that would be a great get. And then we could be getting that ROG Ally 2 Asus Xbox branded hybrid console handheld thing, which, you know, that is not the Xbox handheld. So to me, that's just like some licensed Xbox version of the Asus ROG Ally. It's not like the real deal Xbox handheld. So to me, I'm not like super excited about this. I don't think too much of it. But I know some people are like, oh my God, that's going to be like the first coming of an Xbox handheld. So to me, I'm more than happy to just stick with my absolutely excellent Logitech G Cloud that I adore, that I know people really don't like, but I think it's just such a phenomenal little device, and I'm really glad I got one. I'm happy to stick with that until Xbox gives us the real deal Xbox handheld. But you know, I just think like that's the potential for hardwares. Maybe an Elite Series 3 controller, maybe that Sebille controller finally comes out. And then maybe, you know, we get that ROG branded Asus Xbox collab handheld device. But that would be it. No console or anything like that. I think that it is possible that they announce the next generation of Xbox hardware next year, and then we get it in 2027. I think that is very possible at this point. But if you had asked me maybe just 6 months ago, I would have thought that this year they would have talked about the next generation of Xbox and we would have got it next year. But following how Phil Spencer and everyone's been talking, I feel kind of the opposite now, where I think we are more likely to have to wait another 2 years or something like that. And so I don't know. I just feel like the rest of the year for Xbox, despite being such a heavy hitting, exciting and fun-filled first 5 months as we start to get towards the end of May, is going to be followed by a really less than exciting latter half of the year, where, not less than exciting, that's not the right way to put it. I think a great latter half. Like, don't get me wrong, if the only Xbox games we got for the rest of the year is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, Gears of War Reloaded, Ninja Gaiden 4, Call of Duty 2025, and Outer Worlds 2, I would say that's a fantastic lineup for Xbox paired with everything else that we already got. I'm more than happy. But I just feel like you have to compare the first half to the later half of the year. And when you compare the two, it just, something doesn't add up. And I feel like from that perspective, we got to talk about like what's going on here, you know? So that's where that comes from for me. But overall, man, I mean, I've been pretty fucking happy with Xbox this year. I mean, Xbox has gotten plenty of playtime. It's served me well. I mean, you guys can see as I'm constantly stressing out trying to figure out where I'm going to find the time to play all these Switch games and Xbox games, and this is coming out and that's coming out. And hey, Switch 2 comes out in like 2 weeks from today, the day this podcast goes live on the 22nd. So like, I'm overwhelmed. We're about to get Mario Kart and Donkey Kong, and it's just, I can't keep up. There's too much good stuff. But nonetheless, it is worth noting that it's just Xbox has had a weird year. And I'm just wondering, when do we get to the point where like all the dots kind of connect and we can go, oh, that's what this was all about? Because I'm wondering, like, is Game Pass in trouble, or is Xbox hardware going to go away sooner than we thought, or they have some new evolution that we don't know about? I want to know, like, what is the secret and what is the roadmap for Xbox? Because I feel like the entire table has been flipped upside down so many times that the legs are broken off the fucking table and you can't even call it a table anymore. And I'm just wondering what the fuck is the future of Xbox and what's going on, aside from the, you know, redundant, obvious speculation of like, they're going to pull out of the console market. They're going to do this. They're going to go third party. I want to know about this Steam integration on Xbox hardware. I want to know what's going on with Halo on PlayStation. I want to know, is the future going to be PlayStation games and Xbox games day and date, or is there going to be a slight delay? I want to know what's up with these new controllers and this new hardware. And I want to know what's up with all the other games we don't know about, and if they're going to be released all back to back to back. And then what's after that? Like what's coming out on Xbox in 2 years, 3 years? Like talk about that at the July showcase. I want to know. I want to have an idea of what's happening at Xbox beyond what's right in front of our faces right now, because I feel like the tables have been turned so much, but the roadmap beyond what's immediately in front of us has been discussed so seldom that we have no other option but to just speculate. And it's exciting, but it's like confusing. Xbox is such an exciting time because Xbox is harder to read now than ever before. It makes it fun, but it makes it also like, what the fuck's going on? So anyway, that's I just want to kind of like, I guess, reorient with that conversation. But let me know what you guys think. What are you looking forward to? What did I miss? I don't know, man. I feel really high on. I got to be honest. Aside from like it's weird that Gears of War and Halo and all this shit are coming to PlayStation. I just got to be honest. Like, I've had such a great year thus far with my Xbox, and I am so satisfied with my investment as an Xbox consumer, as a Game Pass subscriber. Thus far this year, I've played great games. I've enjoyed my Xbox thoroughly. I have not felt like I'm missing out or I'm losing value or that my purchase was wasted. I'm not just trying to validate this stuff for no reason. I just feel like my Xbox has been a fabulous machine that has satisfied me greatly as a person who loves playing video games by providing me with excellent video games to enjoy and great value to boot. So I'm more than happy, but I the more analytical side of me, the part that wants to figure out what's going on is like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what was that? What was that? Expedition 33, Avowed, Oblivion, South of Midnight, Doom, back to back. Fuck you. What was that? And what is this like Gears of War on PlayStation throw a bone to the Xbox people? And where are these hardware announcements that we've been teasing? And now that pretty much everything but Fabled is out, like what's next, man? Put a goddamn release date on Perfect Dark, please, for love of Christ, at this event. And show us an update on Clockwork Revolution. But other than that, guys, I'm out. I'm out of ideas. That's it. It's a short Xbox on. It's been a while since we've had one this short, but not going to drag it out anymore. I appreciate you listening. Hope you have a great week. Hopefully nothing too crazy happens on Wednesday, because I would hate for this podcast to go live and I'm just like, what's up for Xbox the rest of the year? And every other Xbox podcast is like, so let's talk about how Phil Spencer fucking ran over that kid with his Bentley. That was crazy, right? I can't believe he ran him over, and everyone's like, oh, he didn't mean to run the kid over. He just didn't see where he was going. And then he backed up and ran the kid over a second time just to make sure he didn't miss. That was fucking wild. And then he said power to the player and drove off, and his license plate said PS, I don't know. I'm out of steam, guys. I'm so tired. Have a great week, guys. Be safe, be well. Enjoy your video games. Drink a goddamn Yoshi slushie. They're so fucking good. Until next week, grill your meats, power your dreams.